Okay, so we just finished, Louisiana we purchased Louisiana Territory, and Jefferson sent many people, including Lewis and Clark, out on expeditions of these new territories to explore the land and bring some things back to him, or to the country, for the country. Now, we are getting, towards the end of Jefferson's presidency, plus we are leading up to another war. So, under Jefferson's foreign policy there, on 326. I want you to read through that, and as you're reading it, I want you to write this question and answer it in your notes. It might not necessarily be in there word for word, but it's in there. Why was the U.S. likely to have conflicts with other nations? I want you to go through that section, read through it, and answer that question. We'll come back and Okay, so tell me, why was it looking like it was likely that there would be conflicts with other nations? Braden?
Because our merchants were going everywhere, so they were vulnerable sometimes.
Say that one more time.
Our merchants were all over the place.
Oh, okay, yeah. It has to do, we're trading all over the world, so we're all over all over those other nations as well. Brett?
We didn't want to become too close of friends with anybody, like with any nation.
Okay. You don't want to become too close of friends with others. Austin?
Expansion, because they already all land out west, or just gonna take it.
Alright, we just purchased the Louisiana Territory. Now people are going to start settling out west, so expansion. And there's other nations that are already settling out west anyway, so we're going to be kind of mixing with them. Anything else? Katie?
We're making allies who are enemies of others.
Good. We have allies with maybe one country that is an enemy with another country, and so that causes problems. Anything else you can think of? Okay, that's right. And what's going to happen now is, because of a lot of that stuff, it's going to lead us to another war. And so we're going to focus on 3 issues, and we'll probably get through one of them today. But there's going to be 3 major issues that really causes us to go to war. Again, we're going to take a look at the first one. So issues of war. We're going to probably just focus on the first one today. If you take a look under problems with France and England, it talks about one of the first major causes that leads us to a war. I want you to take a look at what's going on with France and Britain. Now we have more problems with them. We had problems with them before under Adams, and so now we're having some more problems. So find out what these problems are and what they're doing to us. Because they were having their French Revolution, we didn't want to help France because we were trading with Britain. We didn't want to help Britain because France helped us, so we remained neutral. Well, it's starting to become hard for us to stay out of it, because in 1805, what did the British start to do? Dev?
Started to basically clamp down on ships.
They started to mess around with our shipping, clamp down on our shippings. They didn't want us to provide their enemies with supplies and food. And so they saw us trading with France, giving their enemies food. So they were upset with us. So we threatened to take action on them for clamping down on our shipping. But then what did they do because we threatened to do that? What did they do, Abby?
Seize our ships.
Not yet. They didn't start to seize yet. Hunter?
They set up a partial
Just set up a partial blockade, which made it that we could only get some ships over to Europe. And that really upset who? Who did that upset? Who did that upset, Cooper?
France.
That upset France, because then they wanted to control foreign shipping. So they put us in a hard position. We didn't, if we obeyed British rules, then we were going to upset the French. If we obeyed the French rule, we were going to upset the British. Then finally, what did they start doing, the British start doing to us? Finally now, Abby. Huh? They were seizing our ships and kidnapping our sailors. And they were forcing our American sailors to work on their British ships. And between 1803 and 1812, they kidnapped about 6,000 of our sailors and forcing them to work on their ships. And what did they use as another word for kidnapping of our sailors? What was another word they used? Max? Impressment. So that's kind of an important word you'll want to use, the impressment of sailors. So that's one thing that led up to war. They started to kidnap our sailors. All right. Now, at the time that there was this battle, there was this famous, in 1807, there was this famous battle between the British ship Leopard attacked an American ship, the Chesapeake, off the coast of Virginia. Many, well, 3 lost their lives, but many were put on the British ships to work for them. It just angered many people across the country. Well, Congress wasn't in session at the time. And who can declare war? Who only can declare war? John? Not the president. No, president cannot declare war. Brennan? Congress can only declare war. Well, they were not in session. Had they been in session, there's a good chance we would have gone to war.
Wouldn't the United States have to pay for our sailors back at this point?
Wouldn't they have to what?
Would they pay to get our sailors back?
They weren't giving them back.
They didn't want
They didn't want to give them back. They were keeping them to work on their ships. So Congress wasn't in session. Most likely they would have declared war because a lot of people wanted to go to war. Jefferson, as president, what did he kind of decide about maybe going to war? He could have called Congress back into session and said, hey, we need to go to war. What did he decide? Brett? What did he decide
I don't know.
about war? Take a look in there. Don't ask your neighbor. Take a look in the reading. That's why I gave you the reading. What did he ask? Or what did he decide, I guess, about war?
Jefferson?
Yeah, Jefferson. What can you tell me?
Against it?
He decided against war. Okay, so he decided against war, and some people were fine with that, but there were a lot of people who were very upset with him, criticized him, basically called him a wimp for doing that. They thought he should have gone to war. Okay, now that's one issue. Okay, they started kidnapping our sailors. 2 more things will happen that will lead us to go to war. And we're going to talk about those other 2 tomorrow. The assignment I'm giving you today you're going to have to finish reading the section here, and it will help you figure out those next 2. So as you're looking through the rest of the section and doing your assignment, try to find out what those next 2 things that led us to war. So one is the impressment of sailors, and there's 2 more I want you to take a look for. But the assignment here, which will be turned in. All right, how did the Embargo Act affect the American farmer? All right, I want you to be able to give me at least 2 examples in there. You're writing it as a paragraph. How did the Embargo Act affect the American farmer? All right, this will be due tomorrow along with finishing the reading, and then tomorrow we'll finish our notes.